There, let's get started on this very easy pillow cover that's made from 10-inch granny squares and chains. That's it. It coordinates with my modern farmhouse plaid blanket. You can find that on my channel here at I-crochet and also my website i-crochet.com. I used a 10mm crochet hook for most of it and 8mm for the border. I used Bernat Forever Fleece super bulky 6-weight yarn, white noise, just a few yards, chamomile, less than half a skein, maybe a third of a skein, and the same amount for coal. The first part of the video will be teaching you how to make the 10-inch flat granny square. It's actually from a video where I made a blanket. After that, we'll get into the tutorial for the pillow cover. Flat granny square. This is really easy. I'm making it with Bernat Forever Fleece, super bulky 6-weight yarn. I find this to be the softest and easiest to work with in the super bulky weight yarn. This is the color Rose Hip. It's going to end up being part of a blanket that I'm making, and the pattern will be on here pretty soon. This is a 10-inch square made with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rounds. I'll show you how big it is at the end of each round because you can make it smaller for sure. You could go ahead and make it bigger than this as well. It just keeps going. It's the way that I learned how to make it. It doesn't leave any big holes in the corners. They're all pretty equal. All right, let's get started. You are going to make a magic ring. I know some people run screaming from the room when they hear that, but it's not that hard. Here's how I do it. I take 2 fingers. You could do it on your 4 fingers if you want to. Most important thing is to just leave your pretty good sized tail down here. Bring your working yarn around, cross it over. You have an X. I'm using a 10mm crochet hook. Go under the first part of the X, over the next one, bring it through, and just kind of twist it a little bit. Now grab that with your fingers, just kind of hold onto it, because you're going to make a chain. Get your working yarn, switch fingers there. Got this loop. You can tighten that up in just a minute, don't worry about it. Bring that through, and now you can, oops, sorry, now you can tighten it up. Make sure I'm still in the camera view, sorry about that. The most important thing to remember when you're working in a magic circle is to go under both the circle and the tail. The tail is what allows you to bring that in and tighten it up later. All right, so we're going to start. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we're going to make 3 double crochet. This is going to count as your first double crochet and a chain 2 for a corner. Yarn over, go into your circle, yarn over, pull through. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the last 2, and there's your double crochet. This is going to be a corner. I'm going to move my camera a little bit closer. Let's try that so you can see the stitches clearly. We're going to make 2 more double crochet, 3 total. Yarn over, make sure you're going under the circle and the tail. Get your yarn, bring it through, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2,
yarn over, pull through the last 2 loops. Now you have 2 double crochet. We need 1 more. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. That's going to be your first side of your square. It's funny because we work in rounds, but it's a square. Chain 2. This is going to be a corner. You have to have corners when you have squares. If your circle keeps getting bigger like mine does, because I tend to pull on it, just pull that in a little bit. All right, so we have 3 double crochet and a chain 2. We're going to do another 3 double crochet. 1. This is a new hook. That's a little stiff. 2 and 3. This is going to be our next side. So you have a side, a corner, a side. We need another corner. Chain 2. That makes your corner. And pull that in a little bit more. The whole time, make sure you're going under. If you're not sure, pull on this. It should pull the whole circle tighter. If it doesn't, then you know you've somehow not gone under. All right, this is our next corner. We need 3 more double crochet for our next side. 1, 2, and oops, I almost caught the tail in there. 3. Let me pull it just to make sure I'm still on track. Yes, it still works. And another corner. Now let's check and see how many sides we have. 1, 2, 3. We're on our last side. This is going to count as our 3rd double crochet, so we only need 2 more. That's also our corner, so we don't need a chain 2 on this one, just 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. Now we are going to join at the 3rd chain, so you can either count up. Sometimes I have trouble finding my first one. 1, 2, 3. What I usually do is I don't want to go into this one because that's the top of my double crochet. This is actually my 4th chain, so I don't want to go into that one. I want to go into this one. That's the 3rd. Sometimes as you go along, you know what, I'm going to show you something to have a smaller hook on hand just in case this is a little bit hard to come through. And pull it through. Just makes your life easier. And slip stitch. Okay, see how it looks like a double crochet, and you're going to pull this tight. Just pull, 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 pull. We'll weave that in later so that it doesn't come apart. All right, there's your first round. 3 double crochet on each side. And we did it joined with a slip stitch. Now you're going to go into that corner under the chain space. Pull your yarn through, make another slip stitch, pull it tight, and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I did want to show you as each round progresses how big this is. Approximately 2 inches. All right, we're going to work into this corner. This is where it can get a little confusing, but this is also what makes it where the corners are nice and even and you don't end up with a big gaping hole. This is actually, every corner is going to get 2 double crochet, chain 2, and another 2 double crochet, except here we're going to start, this is one of our double crochet. When we come all the way around, we're actually going to make what would have been our first one. So this is our double crochet and our chains. So we need 2 more. It's going to make sense to you in a little while, I promise. 2 more double crochet for our corner. This is the only one that's different like that. Now you're going to go into the top of each double crochet across. Now we have 3. You'll want to pull that double crochet from the corner over because this can very often hide on you. I'm going to go right into that with a double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Let's turn it. There's your corner. Every corner gets 2 double crochet and then a chain 2 and another 2 double crochet. So there's 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, chain 2, 1, 2, and another 2 double crochet, 1 and 2. And see how that first double crochet can get hidden? Pull that over and it opens it right up for you. You should have 3. Everything needs to stay even because it is a square. All the sides have to be the same. Try to keep your stitches as equal as you can. So double crochet into each of those 3. So we have 3 double crochet. Those are our 3. We've added 2 because that was our corner. So when we come back around on our next round, we're going to have more double crochet to work into. All right, we've reached our corner. Make sure you're going under that chain. 2 double crochet, 1, 2, chain 2. I'm going to turn that a bit, and 2 double crochet. 1 and 2. There's your 3 double crochet from the previous round. Pull that over, open it up. And you'll have 3 double crochet to work into. 1, 2, and 3 double crochet. There's another corner. 2 double crochet, a chain 2, and 2 double crochet every corner. I know that first one looked weird, but it will end up being the equivalent of 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet, chain 2, and another 2 double crochet. It grows very quickly with this super bulky 6-weight yarn. All right, pull that over so you can see your first. You still have 3 double crochet. It's very easy to lose that first one. 1, 2, and 3. This is where it's a little different. You have to remember every time you get back to this initial corner, this counted as one of our double crochet and our chain space, and this counted as our other 2. So we're missing one. So every time you come back around, you're going to add it in this same corner, go into that corner space with a double crochet. So that's actually the first double crochet of that corner from the previous round. And as I said, you can count up from the bottom or do what I do. And I just keep telling myself, not this one, because that's a double crochet. Not that one, because that's the 4th chain. This one, I want the 3rd chain. And I am just going to go ahead and use my smaller hook. Make my life easy. Pull through for a slip stitch. Go back into that corner under the chain for another slip stitch. Tighten it up. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Now, let's see how big it is with 2 rounds. It's a little over 4.5, close to 5 inches. So if you want to make something with that size of a square, you can stop here. We're going to continue. Now, remember that was one of our double crochet and the chain space. When we come back around, we'll make the other one. So we still need 2 more double crochet in that corner space. 1, and 2. Grab some more yarn. Now, it keeps increasing by 4 every round because you're adding 2 from the corner from the previous round and 2 from this corner from the previous round. So you're always adding 4. So we had 3 to begin with. We're adding 4. So now we have 7 double crochets to work into. Remember to pull this over so you can open up that first double crochet. So you should have 7. If you don't, something's wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, there, 6, 7. Okay, you've reached your corner. 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. So there's 1 double crochet, 2, chain 2, and another 2 double crochet. 1, 2. Remember, if I'm going too slowly for you, fast forward. If I'm going too fast, pause. Pull that over because look, that one wanted to hide. Should have 7. Let's see if we do. Hopefully. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. We've reached our next corner. 2 double crochet, 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2, 2 double crochet, 1, 2. Try to make sure your chains aren't terribly loose because you want to have all, as best you can, have them all even. It'll help keep it nice and flat and straight. All right, make sure you pull that one over. Find your first double crochet to go into. We'll have another 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. There's your corner. 2 double crochet into the corner. Make sure you're going underneath that chain space. 1, 2 double crochet, chain 2, and 2 double crochet. Just kind of always check when you're at your corner to make sure you included 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. It's easy to forget. Sometimes I've found myself making 2 and getting in a hurry and moving on along, and then of course you don't have the right number of double crochets for the next round. Okay, pull that over. 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. You're working into that double crochet that we worked into the corner from the previous round. So that's the top of it right there. Don't think you're doing anything wrong. It's a little bit tighter. Here's where it's easy to forget. You have to make your double crochet into this corner to complete the first corner of this round. You can forget that easily and then join into this chain, and then when you come all the way back around, realize that you're 1 stitch off. How do I know this? Because I've done it. I'm just trying to help you to learn from my mistakes. Okay, so I don't want to go into the double crochet. I don't want to go into my 4th chain. I want to go into my 3rd chain. You don't have to use a smaller hook. I just find it easier. I'm not stretching that out. All right. This is another place where you can forget. There's a slip stitch and a second slip stitch by going under that chain. Make your second slip stitch, pull that tight. Excuse me. All this talking. Chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now let's see how big we are now. We have 1, 2, 3 rounds. And we're at about 7 inches. All right. Now we had 7 in the last round, 7 double crochets to work into, but we're adding 4, 2 from each of our corners. So 7 plus 4 is 11. That's how many double crochets we should have to work into. All right. There's your first double crochet and chain. We still have to make the rest of our corner. 1, 2. I know this part can be confusing, but it really does help make a really nice even square. All right, pull that over so that you can make sure you find your first double crochet. Again, you can fast forward through all this. We'll be making 1 more round after this and doing an invisible join at the end if you want to fast forward to that, feel free. You will definitely want to make an invisible join. 1, because it looks nice and neat, and 2, because it keeps your stitches even, so you have the same number of stitches to work into when you're joining your granny squares. All right, make sure I'm counting. That was my corner, so there's my first double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10. I do like to hold on to the bottom of my stitch. Doesn't get crazy. And 11. Should be at a corner. I am. Hallelujah. And you make your corner stitch, which is 2 double crochet, a chain 2, and 2 double crochet. Whoop. All right, on to our next side. Should have 11. 1, 2, hang on. 3, 4. Sometimes I'm looking at my camera here to make sure I'm still in frame, and then I have a little trouble making my stitches. All right, I need to go back and count. That was my corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Yay! And our corner. It's very repetitive. 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Move my camera a little bit. Sorry. Getting out of range here. 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. All right, back to our corner. And this is our last side of this round. 1, 2, chain 2, 1, 2. Okay, you've got your corner. See how they all line up? I really like making this. It's a different kind of granny square. I like them all. I find this one to be the easiest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My yarn keeps tightening up on me. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And remember, you're working into the top of your last double crochet there. So that's 11. Oops. And make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Make sure that you make your double crochet to complete that first corner. Go into the corner, double crochet. Let's join up with your third chain. Not this one, not this one, this one. Just pull that yarn through. Slip stitch. Go into your corner with your second slip stitch. Always remember that one. And chain 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. All right, let's see. How big is it now? All right, it's just a little over 8 inches. Somewhere in the 8-inch range would be what you would expect with a 10-inch hook, or 10mm hook, sorry, and 6-weight yarn. This is going to be my last round for the blanket I'm making, because I'm making 10-inch squares, or approximately 10-inch squares. Okay, let's get you down closer again. All right. We're going to make our 2 double crochet to complete this partial corner. There's our first. Now we had 11 double crochet in the last round. You add 4 for each because you've added 2 more double crochets in each corner. So 11 plus 4 is 15. That's how many we should have now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. I am going to save you from having to listen to me the whole time. I'm going to come around and finish all my corners and my 15 double crochets on each side, and I'll join you when we're back at this original corner. All right, I have finished my 5th round. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 15 double crochets all the way around, and then 2 double crochet, chain 2, 2 double crochet in each corner. So I'm back to the first corner. This is where you can quite often forget it when you're on your last round to go back and make this first double crochet of your initial corner. I've done it. I'm so anxious to finish that I just want to join that chain. All right. And we're going to do an invisible join. So let's find our third. I'm going to use my small hook, not the double crochet, not the 4th chain, but the 3rd chain. Pull it on through. Oops. We're only going to do 1 slip stitch. So you've completed your last corner. Leave yourself a bit of a tail to work with. All right, let's get down closer here. Pull that through. Get your needle. Wow, I do not like seeing my hands that close up, but I want you to see the stitch, so I'll suffer through it. All right, here's where your yarn is coming out of that stitch. Here's your next stitch. You want to skip this stitch. We're going to come back and duplicate this, and it's going to be seamless. So go into the next stitch, the front and the back loop. Go through those. Just do it nice and slow. This is what we're going to be duplicating. All right. That's the first part of that stitch. Now, we're going to go right back into here, right in the middle. And pull this yarn around. Right in the middle of that. Go ahead and catch this other, the back loop there, and one of the stitches back here. Pull it through slowly, very slowly. You want to make sure that you're just kind of duplicating that stitch. Should be fairly equal to the others. Now, it's a nice neat join. You don't have a knot, and you have the same number of stitches, so that when you go to join your other granny squares, it's just going to match up perfectly. And then you can come back here and weave in your end. Usually I just tunnel through. Remember not to pull it too tight because you want to leave that stitch equal to the others. I'm kind of working upside down here. Just tunnel through again, however you normally like to weave in your ends. I like to go over. If I go under again, it's just going to pull out. Two or three times, 4 if you want to. Just feel it, make sure it's not too hard. Just feels nice and soft still. You don't want any hard bumps when you are crocheting. You want everything to be nice and soft. Pull it through a little bit. I will caution you, it's better to come up here and cut it and leave a little bit much than to come too close. You do not want to cut into your crochet stitch because it will fall apart. And then you'll be sad. Okay, let's see how How big is our square now? All right at 10 inches. Yay! All right, if you want to keep going, it grows with this weight of yarn and a 10mm hook by about 2 inches with each round. You can go as big as you like, but I'm going to make a blanket with 10-inch squares. I hope this helped you. All right, I am just tickled with how this came out with just some squares that I had already made, some chains, and 16 by 16 pillow form. You can make it any size you want. These are 10-inch squares, and it just worked out perfectly for 16 by 16. Right, I used a 10mm hook to make the squares, but I'm going to switch over to an 8mm. Let's get this down a little closer. A little hard to see that dark gray. Coal. It's almost black, but it's a dark gray. All right, I did a slip knot. I'm going to join. Make sure that you're on the right side. The stitches are flatter. If you flip over to the back side, you can see where they're more rounded. Oh, this is my right side. So I have my slip knot. I'm going to come in the second stitch over from the corner. Not this very center stitch, not this one, but this one. And we're going to work in the back loops only. So actually, I want to pull that through this way. I'm going to make a chain. And then I'm going to come back in that very same stitch with a single crochet. Just pull through those 2 loops. You can just drop your tail. Now, this is your center stitch chain. We're going to skip over that one. So go into this one right before it, back loop only, with a single crochet. Now we still need to have a corner or it's going to pucker too much at the corners. So chain 2, and that will give you enough extra to turn that corner. So skip that very center chain, come into the next. Always, you could go into the whole stitch if you want to. I just thought it looked nicer and flatter to go into this back loop only. So we're going to do that all the way around. And as I said, you can use any colors you want. If you're using the coal and the chamomile like I am, you could do the chamomile here and make your chains in the middle, the chamomile. And then when you're working on the chamomile, you could do the coal around the edge and the coal for the chains. Any color combination you want. This is just a super simple way to make a cute pillow cover. I have not seen it done this way. I'm sure it has been done this way because I don't think there's anything new in crochet, really. It's new to me, new to you a lot of times, but crochet's been around for so long. There's really nothing that's terribly new. Maybe little variations here and there. I just personally have not seen it done this way. But I also have been crocheting for a few years since I retired from teaching. All right, we're getting to the corner. Now remember, you don't want to go into this middle chain there. So this is the stitch right before it. You do want to go into that one. Single crochet, chain 2, skip over that chain, and start single crocheting in the back loop only. Again, all the way around. I'll meet you when we get back to the corner here where we'll do an invisible join. All right, we're back here at the last stitch. Our square. Still go into the back loop only, single crochet. Find that very first stitch, go into that, pull through this loop, just like you're making a slip stitch. Leave yourself a good few inches of a tail. And let's just pull that straight through. You're going to make an invisible join here. If you just fasten off, it leaves a little bit of a knot, and also you end up with not an even number, an equal number of stitches, which is okay if you're not joining them, but we are going to be joining them. Okay, so here, make note of where that last piece of yarn is coming through this stitch. We're going to skip this stitch, go into this stitch with your needle under the front and the back loop, just like we did when we made the square. And we're replacing this stitch, this V. You're going to come in the middle where that yarn was coming out and come back behind it and just pull kind of loosely until you have it about the same size as your other stitches. You can go ahead and just loosely weave that in. This is going to be on the back side. You won't see it. But you can just tie these two together now and cut. Like I said, it's just going to be tucked to the back. You won't need those. Now, for my chains, I made, for me, 32 chains. 33, I'm sorry, worked out really well. Anywhere between 32 and 34. For me, you might make your chains tighter or looser. Again, I used the 8mm hook. Now remember, on each end you need to have a tail that you tighten. One end was your slip knot. And you're going to come in from the corner. This corner, you're going to come under. You're just going to weave it through, under, over, under, over. I like to have the little V's from the chain showing. So that was under, over, under. You could get your needle and do this if you like. You can straighten the chain out when you're finished. Just make sure that you're going over and under, over and under. By starting under, you'll go, when you get to this middle part, you'll go under. If you prefer to go over that, you can start with over. I tried it both ways. I liked it this way best. Again, just keep alternating over, under, over, under. Straighten it out in just a minute. And when you get to the last corner, you're going to be going under. So that works out perfectly. You'll be sewing this tail in just a minute. I want to make sure I'm right there with my tail end. And like I said, I like to have the V part of the chain showing. It's starting to twist on me there. I'm going to pull it back. I can find my V's. And there we go. And there's my tail for sewing in. Pull on it. It's pretty good. If you feel like your squares are not equal to each other or that they're a little too puffy, you can take a towel, put the towel over your square, and then put your iron on steam. Don't let the iron touch your yarn. Only put it above the towel or just lightly on the towel. Let the steam come through, then take the towel off and just use your hand and flatten it out. I did that. You don't have to. Okay. So we're just going to very quickly sew the tails. I'm going to come on this side and on this side. Just kind of naturally where that V is. Come through. The end of that chain there. I don't want to leave any big knots, so I just want to come through once. It's nice and secure. And then you can come in and weave this in. Just a couple of times loosely. Again, I really don't want to have any hard knots in the corners. I want it to still stay rounded. All right, just going to cut that. Do the same thing on the other side. And then you'll have another chain and you're going to do the same thing from corner to corner. And I'll meet you back here when we're finished with that. Just a quick note, when you're putting your chains through, make sure that you're on the right side. Remember, the wrong side has bigger bumpy stitches. You want to make sure you're working on the right side. Okay, I'm just going to show you how to sew the sides together. I have two squares here. And get yourself a nice long piece of yarn. Thread it through your needle. I found that about 4 times this side, a little bit more, is what I can comfortably work with. And then when I run out, I just make a knot, tie some more together. So we're actually going to be, there's your wrong side. You're going to be working with the right side. You're going to make a triangle. This is going to be my piece at the top, at the back, where I'm going to leave it loose on both sides and leave some long ends so that I can stuff the pillow form in there. And then I'm going to come back and sew the seams and just have a little bow tie there. That way I can open it up as needed to wash it or change it out for something else. So there's my triangle. I'm alternating colors. Again, make sure that you're on the right side. This is the wrong side that has all those bumps. I want the right side facing out. Make yourself a triangle. I did not steam these. They're okay. You can always do it when you've finished sewing everything together. So your sides are going to go like this. Okay? And I want to start with the piece that I know I want to leave a long piece here. And same thing's going to happen on this side. So
I'm going to come through. We're always going to work on the part of the stitch that's closest to the middle, and we're always going to come in from underneath like this. So I'm going to start over here. You don't need to leave a whole lot of space, maybe about a third of the way up. My pillow form anyway is very soft and flexible. So leave yourself a pretty good long several inches because you're going to be sewing it through and you want to leave enough to tie a little bow. I'm going to leave myself a little bit more. So now with that long end, just tie yourself very just loosely, a little knot there. Put these together and put your corners together so you know about how many stitches are going to be even. Your corner, you should be right across. It should work out. Okay, that's just going to hold it, but you're going to take that out later, so don't actually tie a knot in it. Okay, let me make sure I'm right across. Again, we're going from the middle. You're going to go under. That tucked in there. Get that out of the way. The part of the stitch that's closest to the middle and go under. You can sew it a different way if you want to. I thought this made a nice seam. It looks a little bit braided. I'm going under, in from the middle, under. I'm just going to go a little bit longer just to show you what it looks like. That's going to give you a nice little, just a cute seam there. So keep going. You're going to work up and work your way down the back and went all the way down. And then you'll connect your others. Just make sure your corners are equal. And this is what your seams will look like when you're finished. And I'll show you in just a minute how to finish off where you're tying it in the back. Okay? Okay, when you're down to your last seam, leave it open, not even halfway. The pillow, my pillow form anyway, was very soft and quite easy to push in this opening. And I just made sure to push it into all the corners. Now, if you want to, you can add a button here and find your corner space here and use that as a buttonhole. I felt like it pulled it too much. I just didn't really like it. So all I'm going to do is finish this seam. When I did the seam for the same piece on this side, I left a long tail. And we're simply going to tie them together. So I'll finish out this seam.
just going in the part of the stitch that's closest to the middle on either side. Come in from the bottom. Goes really, really fast. You don't have to pull it very tight because you can pull it a little bit later. If it's too tight, just loosen it up. Easy peasy. If you get to the end and there's too much of a gap, just sew it in. Let's see, I already went in that one. Let's come over here to the middle. I had left this piece just in case I wanted to sew on the button, which I decided not to, but I'm just going to tuck that in case I change my mind later. I split the yarn so that it would be easier to get through the buttonholes. All right, one more here. I want to get down to here. Pull that a little bit tighter. We don't have so much of a gap. Pull this one out. And go back in. There's too much of a gap over here. And we'll come through this one. That should do it. Should pull it in. Yep, it did. Okay, I'm happy enough with that. And all I'm going to do is tie it in a bow. When I want to change the cover, untie the bow, loosen up the stitches as far as I need to go to get the pillow cover out. And it will be easy enough to put these back in. All you need is a little bow. If you want to, you can double knot that, depending on who's going to be playing with it or throwing it around. Even those up. All right. It is done. Isn't that super cute? All right then, let me know if you enjoyed this pattern, and also let us know if you used any other color combinations. Thanks a lot.